Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday morning, July the 1st. We had all kinds of heavy rain last night in the northern half of the Mid-Atlantic region, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, much of northeastern Maryland got rocked with slow-moving thunderstorms that produce a torrential rainfall. Can have a repeat performance later on this afternoon into tonight all around the Mid-Atlantic region. We have a pretty strong surface cold front moving from northwest to southeast later today. It will be associated with a strong upper level vorticity center that will produce and enhance upward motion throughout the Mid-Atlantic region later on this afternoon and evening, and all of that will lead to the likelihood for strong to severe thunderstorms again to develop in the Mid-Atlantic region later this afternoon and continuing into the overnight hours. In fact, the frontal system itself looks like it may get hung up for a while tomorrow morning along the East Coast, let's say the coastal sections of New Jersey, Delmarva Peninsula. That could keep clouds all along the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City throughout much of the morning hours, maybe even some lingering showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday morning. All of that, again, follows the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms later today and tonight. After that, a weak cool front passes across the northeastern states late Thursday night. Looks like it'll pave the way for a very nice holiday, the 4th of July holiday on Friday, with lower humidity in the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., plenty of sunshine and comfortably warm conditions. Let's start off here by taking a look at the latest probability outlook for severe weather as issued by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center, and they do correctly, in my opinion, have and kind of a higher risk of strong to severe thunderstorms right along that I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Baltimore to Philadelphia to New York City. And again, we have a cold frontal system that will be pushing to the south and east, and it has some support in the upper part of the atmosphere, all of which should lead to pretty strong upward motion in the area this afternoon into the evening hours. Now, we have some clouds left over this morning from last night's thunderstorms. They should dissipate over the next couple of hours. It's kind of a key player here. The more the sunshine that develops over the next few hours, the greater the destabilization of the atmosphere with that increasing daytime heating. So if you see some coming out in the I-95 corridor region, let's say by 10, 11 a.m. this morning, that's a potential red flag for the development of severe thunderstorms later on today into tonight. If the clouds happen to hang on all the way into the afternoon hours, that would tend to suppress activity. I don't think that will be the case. I do think we will get rocked again later today into tonight. Well, let's go through some of the forecast maps of last night's zero-Z run of the GFS. And again, a main player here is a strong vorticity center in the upper part of the atmosphere right here as we begin the day here on Tuesday morning. There's a pretty impressive trough for this time of the year that will be moving slowly to the south and east. And all of that does is add to the upward motion right in this area out to the east of that upper level vorticity center. You get this strong upward motion of that combined with entrenched heat and humidity in the Mid-Atlantic region will be contributing factors to the reformation of thunderstorms. Probably by early afternoon, we'll start to see the radar light up in the Mid-Atlantic region first, in the central and western part of the Mid-Atlantic region. And those storms will then travel to the east, reaching the I-95 corridor region later this afternoon and all the way to the coast late into the nighttime hours. In fact, again, I mentioned earlier, the front tends to kind of hang up along the eastern seaboard, so the threat of showers and thunderstorms could last all night long into the early morning hours on Wednesday, especially across coastal sections of New Jersey and the Delmarva Peninsula. Now let's push forward with some of these maps. Again, we're looking at the vorticity field of 500 millibars. By the way, notice this upper level feature here out across the west coast of California. We talked about this yesterday, how this is enhancing that monsoonal flow of air, or that moist flow of air from the eastern Pacific Ocean right into the Four Corners region. Indeed, Phoenix was around 115 degrees yesterday, probably more like 110 today, probably closer to 100 degrees by the time we get to the end of the week here on Friday, which is below normal, believe it or not, for that part of the nation. And in addition to a cooler atmosphere, it'll be quite unstable with the monsoonal moisture helping to produce some scattered afternoon and evening thunderstorms in Arizona, New Mexico, maybe Colorado and Utah during this next few days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. And a lot of that is the result of this upper level feature here off the west coast of California. So let's continue to move forward. That front, again, right here by early tomorrow morning, just kind of hanging along the coast right here. So it certainly can be a cloudy morning on Wednesday in D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City. Certainly New Jersey and Delmarva can remain cloudy into the morning hours on Wednesday with the potential of some lingering showers and thunderstorms. This upper level feature continues to hang around there across the southwestern U.S. And you can see this front finally moves off the coast later tomorrow into tomorrow night. This upper level feature moves inland over the Four Corners region. Notice also a strong upper level feature here by Thursday morning over the Hudson Bay region of Canada. That drops to the south and east and kind of pushes a cold front, another cold front, from northwest to southeast across the northeastern states on Thursday. May even produce some showers and thunderstorms late Thursday into Thursday night. That continues to push to the south and east and kind of clears the way for a nice Independence Day holiday as far as the weather is concerned across the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest. And let's move forward here with these particular maps here. Here we go into the morning hours on Friday, the 4th of July. This upper level feature continues to move in this direction, so its associated surface front gets off the coast by the time we get to Friday morning, paving the way for very nice weather conditions in that part of the nation. It's kind of a perfect timing here for kind of an upper level ridge to build in for Friday, Saturday, probably into Sunday as well. Here's Saturday, and then finally we get to Sunday morning. Now by this time, it'll start to get quite warm and humid in the Mid-Atlantic region, places like D.C., Philly, New York City, probably 90 degrees and more humid. And one other little feature I want to point out here, there's a weak tropical wave right now near the state of Florida, producing some impressive rainfall totals over the Florida Peninsula during the next couple of days. That hangs around long enough that it moves off the coast here, and it could develop or strengthen once it moves out over the open waters of the southwest Atlantic. Something we'll have to monitor. It could end up moving up along the eastern seaboard by the time we get into the early part of next week. So it's just another system we'll have to monitor with some tropical origin. Here we go into later Sunday and finally into Monday. And here is kind of that tropical wave now backing to the north and west from the southwestern Atlantic Ocean. Will go out a little bit farther in time, all the way out to a week from right now. Still some active weather here in this particular case, so it'll be quite an impressive upper level trough over the center part of the nation. That's a week from right now, next Tuesday, July the 8th. Notice right here, kind of an upper level ridge ends up moving over the Four Corners region. So after a cool down over the next few days in the southwestern U.S., it looks like they'll get hot and dry again over the weekend, or at least into the early part of next week with a building upper level ridge. Well, let's walk through the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps, again using the 0Z run of the GFS. All these maps, by the way, from tropicaltidbits.com. Let's move forward into the early part of today. And again, we are at the beginning of the month of July right now. An impressive upper level trough with that surface cold front begins the day here on Tuesday. And again, that's the main culprit for producing upward motion in the Mid-Atlantic region this afternoon into tonight, leading to those strong to severe thunderstorms. And there's so much moisture in the atmosphere And many of these storms will be slow moving as they were last night and yesterday afternoon. That torrential rainfall is likely, and flash flooding is a concern here, because some of these storms can easily produce 2, 3, 4 inches of rain over an hour or two, and it's something we'll have to watch for. And that comes on top of what happened last night and yesterday afternoon in at least the northern half of the Mid-Atlantic region. That is some torrential rainfall in that time period. So let's move forward with these upper level maps. And again, notice this upper level low sitting off the west coast of California by later tomorrow into the day on Wednesday. And again, at this point, that surface front kind of hangs up along the eastern seaboard, and it could end up being somewhat unsettled on Wednesday morning in that I-95 corridor region, and points to the east, points to the coastal sections of New Jersey, Delmarva Peninsula. This upper level feature tends to kind of open up a little bit as it moves inland. Here we are on Wednesday, and then into the day on Thursday, and we talked about this strong upper level low over the Hudson Bay region of Canada by Thursday. That will have a surface front dropping to the south and east, could produce some showers and thunderstorms in some sections of the northeast U.S. later Thursday into Thursday night, but it clears the way for a nice 4th of July holiday. And out in the southwestern states, cooler conditions below normal by Thursday and Friday in the Four Corners region. This system continues to move off to the south and east. This is the forecast map for the 4th of July. Very nice weather conditions right in this part of the nation. Lower humidity, comfortably warm, no intense heat like what was experienced a week ago in the Mid-Atlantic region. Probably low to mid 80s for highs on Friday, for example, in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. Can't complain at all about those kind of temperatures in the early part of July. Now, we'll move forward here in time. Ridge tends to build over the weekend and into the early part of next week. We get quite warm again in the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. by the time we get to Sunday. High temperatures probably back to 90 degrees with more humidity. That will be quite noticeable by Sunday afternoon. 90 in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Notice out here in the Four Corners area now, flipping back to orange here, which represents higher heights or higher pressures than normal. An upper level ridge starts to rebuild out there. We'll go all the way out to early next week into next Tuesday. That's a week from right now. Expect this to be a hot and rain, generally a rain-free type of weather pattern here for the southwestern states, and that follows a cool and unsettled weather pattern over the next few days. And pretty warm conditions out across the northeastern part of the nation as well, likely for the early part of next week. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps. Generally rain-free right now in the Mid-Atlantic region, but by early afternoon that radar will start to pick up coverage of showers and thunderstorms, first beginning in the central and western part of the Mid-Atlantic region, and then all that activity will slide slowly to the east. And again, we could have some slow-moving thunderstorm cells and some training. By that I mean thunderstorms moving over the same particular location, and that of course enhances rainfall amounts and increases chances of flash flooding. So slow moving and training leads to that flash flooding threat for the Mid-Atlantic region later on today. And again, this is on top of well saturated grounds. We go into the afternoon and early evening hours, and GFS is certainly featuring an area of heavy rainfall amounts here right along that D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia corridor, and should extend all the way up to New York City and all the way down into central Virginia. Again, the threat of strong to severe thunderstorms, meaning torrential rainfall, flash flooding, and potentially some damaging wind gusts as well. Sometimes when you have downbursts, you can have a kind of a downburst-related damaging wind gusts. You get tremendous rainfall and even some powerful wind gusts when you have these downbursts, which is a possibility with some of these thunderstorms later today into tonight. Then we go a little bit farther out in time. And this frontal system kind of hangs up tomorrow morning right in this area right here. So you could have a cloudy morning in much of that I-95 corridor region and points to the east, coastal New Jersey, Delmarva, and even lingering showers and thunderstorms are possible. Then clearing skies should set in later in the day from northwest to southeast. Here we go into the midday, still putting out some showers into the midday hours down across DC and Delmarva. And notice out here, later tomorrow night, we've talked about this monsoonal flow of moist air from the eastern Pacific right into this part of the nation, and you get these monsoonal type, generally afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And that's good news. That's falling on top of a dry territory here out across the southwestern states, and it also helps to keep things a little bit cooler with those clouds associated with that monsoonal moisture. We go into the day on Thursday, and here's where we have that next surface front right in this area right here, dropping to the south and east. It does not look like it'll be a severe weather producer like we will experience later today into tonight. Nonetheless, there can be a few showers, maybe isolated thunderstorms late Thursday associated with this surface cold front. That then continues to push to the south and east, setting the stage for very nice weather conditions across much of the Mid-Atlantic region, Midwest, Northeast U.S. on Friday. Lower humidity, comfortably warm temperatures, and plenty of sunshine. That nice weather should begin the upcoming week, and then it gets pretty warm and humid by the time we get to Sunday. Here we go on Saturday, and finally into the day on Sunday. Now, by this time, you have an increase in humidity in this part of the nation, probably highs of 90 degrees in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, more humidity. And here is that tropical system. This is something we'll have to watch over the next few days. It kind of meanders around Florida. And by the way, that's good news for Florida. They were very dry in recent months, but they've been picking up some impressive rainfall over the last few weeks. And certainly this system is adding to that rainfall total here across the Florida Peninsula, and will continue to do so over the next couple of days. By the time we get to the upcoming weekend, that tropical system could spill out over the open waters of the southwestern Atlantic, which could allow for some intensification. We'll have to watch that. It could take a turn up the coast, or at least inland, with a decent amount of moisture associated with this. Let's continue to move forward from Sunday into the day on Monday. And here is the GFS putting that tropical system right along the Carolina coastline by next Monday. And it kind of produces some rainfall in eastern Carolinas. And at this particular time, kind of another weak frontal system dropping to the south and east. And here it is, the signature of what could become a named tropical system at some point. A week from right now, this is the forecast map for next Tuesday, July the 8th. And we talked about that, really, that impressive string of vorticity out across the center of the nation. By Tuesday of next week, continuing this active weather pattern, this certainly can be a severe weather producer a week from right now out across the plains, something we'll watch for later this week into the early part of next week. So a lot going on. Another round of showers and thunderstorms for the Mid-Atlantic region later today into tonight, some of which certainly can be strong to severe, containing torrential rainfall, producing flash flooding conditions, and some damaging wind gusts are on the table as well. And all of that slowly winds down late tonight, early tomorrow morning, with that lingering effect from that frontal system that hangs up along the eastern seaboard for a while on the day Wednesday. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.